There we go. All right. Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. Welcome to Tusk Talk with Ty. It's Monday night. Arkansas, LSU coming up on Wednesday. We're going to talk about that game. We're going to get into this, that, and the other, and so on and so forth. But make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Remember, I say it every show as a reminder, YouTube does not like your boy one bit. So sharing is caring. Please share the content. Send I don't know, get your boys in here. Send a group chat. Send out a mass group chat. Like, hey, come on, let's go. Our boys talking Arkansas and what could happen if they lose to LSU. That's what he's discussing in this one. So, yeah, notifications are killing me. They're crushing me. Not going to lie about it. It sucks, but it is what it is. We're working on it. Going to try and just keep pumping out content. Spring football around the corner. We know that's coming up. So I know the vast majority of my audience are football folks. So I know, more people will come around for that. But again, the algorithm, it's a pain in the ass. In the last several months, it's just getting worse and worse. So yeah, do me a solid. Just please make sure you interact, and you do that by commenting, sharing the content, hitting the like button. Hell, even hitting the dislike button helps, believe it or not. So do whatever, man. But help get this small independent channel, keep it relevant, keep us going, right? We've accomplished a lot over the years. I'm really proud of what we've done here, and the community that we've all built together. It's really awesome. So hey, check out Discord if you guys haven't already. Feel free to check out all the links provided for you down below. But Tusk Talk with Ty Discord, always a lot of fun. Cycle, the XP cycle is about to come to an end. That's always exciting. It's really juicy. The top 12 people, it could come down to that final couple of days leading up to the end of the cycle, which it'll be here before you know it. So yeah. So let's see. Yo, what's up, Mel? How you doing, man? We'd have to beat Bama if someone. We would have beat Bama if someone helped out Big Z. Yeah. Yeah. What's going on, Heartbroken Hog? Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's doing great. All right. Again, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Come be a part of what's awesome here, okay? Come have some fun. Join our Discord. Of course, people are blowing up my phone when I'm or texting me, not blowing up my phone. Text me while I'm live. All right. We will have Tim on previously from SEC Unleashed. He'll be on here in, I don't know. I sent him the link. He'll get here when he gets here. We will discuss. I know he's got plenty to say about Arkansas and LSU and just probably, I'm sure he's got a little bit to say about Arkansas and Alabama as well, what happened over the weekend. Arkansas baseball starts off soon, and we will dive into a little bit of baseball. You guys keep asking me to do it. I'll do it. We're getting there, man. It starts this Friday. Excited for it. I'm excited for it. I really am. So, okay, shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company, same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than best results. Give them a call today at 501-244-3667 or check out their link provided for you down below. Affordable outcomes, hundreds of 5-star reviews, better than best results, baby. Go check them out. Show them some love, local company. I don't know if you guys saw this. We briefly talked about it in Patreon chat today. Bear McWhorter. Bear McWhorter, 2026 kid. He's rising through the ranks, okay? His recruiting, he's starting to get it going. 6'4", 300-pound interior offensive lineman. I guess he went down to this camp. I think it was the Under Armour Ultra Camp down in Atlanta and dominated. He's just getting stronger. He's getting better, cleaning up technique. Was committed to Arkansas for a brief period of time. You guys might remember, you might remember this. Yeah. Coach Pittman, I want to be a Hog. That same player. He gave Arkansas the cold shoulder. He has eliminated Arkansas, which is not really shocking when a player decommits. And by the way, he did that whole sign thing, I think like a couple of years ago, coming out of like his 9th grade year, I think. So, I get it. We're gonna get in on that here in just a second. I've got something to say about all that. But he decommitted from Arkansas back on June 30th of last year. He eliminated Arkansas. He's from Kingston, Georgia. He's going to commit somewhere at the end of the month on the 28th. He's going to choose between Alabama, Michigan, Clemson, South Carolina, and Florida. This is coming from Hayes Fawcett on on3.com. Now, I know everyone believes that he's been here, he's camped here, if I remember right. Supposedly has a great relationship with the staff or with Coach Pittman. Don't know, he decommitted. I think some of that's because of his offer list. I think some of that's because of the interest from other schools. Of course, here's what I'm going to say to parents. And I know there's parents that watch. They've got or it's uncles and cousins, whatever. They've got their friends or family members or their basketball players or their football or baseball, whatever. They watch this show. I know this because they've reached out and talked to me, whether it's in Discord or Twitter, Facebook. Let's not do this. Let's not do this when this kid's in like 9th grade or even 10th grade. It's going to come back. Like, fans they're going to come after him on Twitter. I shouldn't say come after him. They're going to give him a lot of shit. And listen, you could say like, well, those are bad fans. Then you're not wrong. I don't disagree. But that's not the only reason why I say probably shouldn't do that. Now here it's not really mattered because Bear McWhorter is a hell of a player. Outstanding young man. Outstanding player. Again, he is killing it in these camps, and he's highly thought of. And some sites have him as a 3-star. I think Rivals has Bear McWhorter as a 4-star. I wouldn't do this unless you are 1,000% positive you're going to go to that school. It kind of goes along. Who was the player? Was it Kudus who said he hated Ole Miss, and then he ends up going to Ole Miss? Like it just. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Let's just hold off from that, right? Let's not do that. It's not a good look. Maybe you shouldn't be so public with some of this stuff, right? Not only that, had he not been a highly thought of player, that could have potentially hurt his recruiting. That could have potentially warned off all these other schools from giving him an offer. Like, oh, this guy definitely wants to go play for Sam. He wants to go wherever Sam is. He wants to go where Sam's at. We're going to back off on our recruiting. Now, for him, he committed, then he decommitted, and he did well enough. He had a good enough season last year, and he's camped really well, where none of that's really mattered. But there's not very many Bear McWhorters. And by the way, I can't think of, and this was a conversation I was having with someone when all this went down, when he decommitted from Arkansas. I can't ever remember a time where a player has gone to that extreme where they're putting up billboards and then turning around just a couple of years later, however much longer it was, and then decommitting from that school where he wanted to go, where he put up the billboard for. I don't know, and I don't know how many players have ever put up billboards. I have no clue. It's usually the other way around. It's usually like, I don't know. I just think the parents in that situation probably should have been like, okay, son, we know you want to be a Razorback. We know you like Sam, but let's not put up a billboard that costs. It's not cheap. Let's not do that to just attract, Sam and Coach Pittman for an offer when, listen, he was camping at a young age. I mean, this is a guy that's kind of been in, I'm not going to say the media spotlight, but he's certainly been somebody that's been pretty well known as a up and coming player and someone who's going to get offers coming out of, whatever it was, 9th, 10th grade. And that's exactly what's transpired. That's exactly what's happened. So again, fortunately for him, it didn't really matter at the end of the day, but there's not as many players that could say like, look, I wanted to go to a school so bad that I put up a billboard. only to commit to that school and then decommit. I don't know. I would just I would tell the parents, let's just pump the brakes before we do anything like that. So yeah, it is Bear McWhorter. Put that back on the screen there. Bear McWhorter is going to be a good player. Again, he's going to commit somewhere February 28th. I would, any more recruiting is just kind of whatever, I mean, he could go somewhere and then transfer after his freshman year, assuming the NCAA or whoever the hell's in charge in the next couple of years. God only knows. Assuming things don't change, like he's going to be able to transfer if he's not happy. And it sounds like Alabama is probably going to end up getting him. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. I'm not. That's nothing anyone's told me. That's just from reading Twitter, and I haven't talked to anybody about where he's going. But it does sound like Bama might possibly be in the lead over Michigan. Who knows, right? But again, he's from he's from Georgia, and he was willing to commit to Arkansas. So maybe he will end up at Michigan. But it sounds like to me, if I had to guess, he might end up at Alabama. Who knows? A lot can change over the next 3 or 4 weeks. But again, that's Bear McWhorter, 6'4", 300-pound interior offensive lineman, formerly committed to Arkansas, decommitted last year, and completely eliminated them today. So that happened today. He eliminated Arkansas today. Is what it is, right? Let's read some of these comments. Oh yeah, well there it is. Pooh Bear says he's going to Bama. There you go. There it is. Hang on just a second here. We got. Hey, Tim, if you can hear me, make sure you're reading private chat. Yeah. Well, we what does this say? Well, we move on like they move on. Yeah. Well, the good news is this 26 class is pretty. I mean, it's off to a really good start, and I think they're in on several pretty high-profile players. This 26 class has the ability to. There's promise here where this class could end up being hopefully better than what they did last year. That class on 247 ended up like 30th overall in the country, and they didn't get off to this. It was a strong start, but it wasn't like this. They didn't have this many commits at this point. I could tell you once again, I fully expect June, July to be a pretty full month, leading more into July. They're kind of. We'll see how they balance out. Their scholarship distribution. Megan Trembling. Okay. Megan Trembling says LSU will beat Arkansas again. We'll see about that. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Up here with me, I've got none other than Tim. What's going on, buddy?
Not much. What's going on, buddy?
Living the dream.
I living the dream.
I was just talking about Bear McWhorter.
Philadelphia took down Kansas City for everybody who didn't watch that. It was so nice.
I had a rough weekend, man.
Did you?
I went 0 for 4 on every prediction.
Well, I'll be honest. I didn't predict it to be the blowout that it was. I love they finished with 22 points and made it look respectable, and I get to say it wasn't near as close as the score indicates. It wasn't that close. No. I've been a Philadelphia fan for a long time now, and people are always like, "Oh, Phil, why Philadelphia? You just jumped on the bandwagon a couple of years ago," but it's not the case. It's not the case. They were 116 at one point. I was still a fan. So that was real nice.
Mello's calling you out. You said you're going to wear a chicken suit.
I did.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay,
I don't have one, so I'm sorry.
Maybe Mello can provide one. Maybe Mello can provide one.
He can wear one and show me what it would have looked like.
Who, me?
No, Mello.
Oh, Mello?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, everybody, I finally did it. I pulled the trigger on getting a P.O. box. I finally did it. I've had people asking me this for years. So I did it. Pig Trail, one word, Media LLC, P.O. Box 22 at Springdale, Arkansas, 72765. So again, that's Pig Trail Media LLC, P.O. Box 22, Springdale, Arkansas. I've got it in Discord if you want to go look at it. I've got it it's pinned. If you scroll up on your phone and you'll find it. It's right there. You click on the magnifying glass, and then you click on pin, and you can I'm probably going to regret it. I know I'm going to regret opening that P.O. box. Someone's going to send me something. Charles Taylor says, "What's up, Oinkers?"
Okay.
All right. I wonder if that's an LSU.
All right.
All right. So
LSU at Arkansas, huh?
Yeah. Well, next up, I was going to talk really quick about baseball, but finishing up, Bear McWhorter. That was the last thing we were on. Bear McWhorter, big. I think he's a potential big time player, but he eliminated Arkansas today, so there's that. Arkansas baseball is back this Friday. They start a 4-game series versus Washington State. Hogs are, according to D1Baseball.com, the only program in the country that have 4 top 150 pitchers in the country. Gabe Gackle at number 6, Zach Root at number 11, Gage Wood at 30, and then Landon, the transfer from Ohio State, I think. Landon, one of the most difficult last names I've ever tried to pronounce. Landon Beidel. You want to take a stab at it? Because I'm
No. I prefer my dignity.
Beidelschhies. It sounds like a beer that wants to be like something that it's not.
Yes. Yeah, it's a German beer made in Mississippi or something.
Nothing against the kid. We're sorry. We just can't pronounce your name. He's a 6'3", 230-pound lefty. Apparently, this dude can sling it. We're just going to call him Landon, or we're going to call him B-Dog, I guess. Landon B. The expected rotation versus Washington State, probably going to be Gackle. Saturday, I'm going to guess Root. Maybe Sunday you end up with Wood, and then Monday is going to be our B-Dog. It's going to be Landon Badel. This is worse than I had to sit and learn how to pronunciate Iamaliava. And Arkansas played Nico, and I thought I had it down, and it just slipped. And now here we are with this guy, and I've got to figure this out because I think he's going to be pitching a lot for Arkansas. He's going to probably end up being a starter. I think there might be a little bit of a competition for day 3, and he might be in the mix there. But
all right, let's see if I can.
Are you going to take a stab at it?
See if I can help you out with this thing,
dude. Badel Sleaze. I bet it's really simple. Like 2 syllables. It's just real simple. Badel Shees or something. Beidel Shies. Is someone trying to pronounce it in chat? No one's even trying in chat. Megan says she's very excited about baseball. It means winter is almost over. Well, that's not why I'm excited.
I think you're right. I think it's Beidel Shies.
Beidel Shies?
I think. I don't know that I want to take any other stab. Beidel Shies looks about as good as you can do.
I think we're just gonna have to settle on that until we hear Phil pronounce it. Like I said, I'm late on baseball. I am every year. I'm late to it. I'm just now where I'm opening up, looking up rosters, seeing what D1's saying, trying to go over each of the teams. It's not like a Lindy's. There's no Lindy's or Athlon preseason baseball magazine or college.
So what are they saying about? What are they saying? Not about the pitching, but about the batting? Because it seems like every year we're either good at pitching and adequate batting, or really good batting and adequate pitching. What are they saying this year?
It looks to me like, and again, someone in chat's probably going to chime in too, because we got a few baseball people who
Do
are
it. Do it.
really die hard into it. But I think I don't know what to expect because last year it was hitting wasn't necessarily a huge issue as much as when you had runners in scoring position, not being able to move bases, not being able to bring these guys home. You could get them to second base, it just didn't matter. They really, they struggled quite a bit at it. They've added some guys. I mean, I know they've added a few pieces here and there. I don't know. They got this kid out of
Pooh Bear says it's pronounced battle sheet.
Pronounce what?
Battle sheet.
Battle sheet. Is it really?
That's what he says.
Oh, that's cool as hell if it is. Battle sheet.
Yeah.
That's a really badass last name. Ty, I know you don't keep up with baseball. Well, I do. I just wait till the last minute. I don't keep up with it in the off season like I do football and basketball. Ty, I know
go ahead, read
but they are saying this is not one of the best teams DVH has ever had.
One of, if not the best.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Those words are they are saying that. Yeah. Well, and it helps if you have a couple of strong lefties that are either going to end up being starters or coming out of the bullpen. Like they're going to have some options, I think, and they're going to have some pretty good depth out of pitching. I'm with you on hitting. Like that has to be an area of this has got to get better. Like the hitting.
Yeah, I think we talked about this one time, and we were this preseason we've talked about it one time, you and I and Travis, and I think we noticed some transfers with great batting, but that hasn't always translated to SEC play, is what you had said before. And so I wondered if anybody's really said anything else about it since we talked. I think we talked in early January about we have at least one guy who transferred in who was batting like 410 last year or something stupid.
They grabbed a couple of guys that were hitting the ball really well.
But it just doesn't seem to translate when they get here.
Yeah, that's been an issue. I mean, like DVH, I think has done a really good job of like they got this Rocco Pepe, real name Rocco Pepe. That's actually sounds like he probably played in Cincinnati. I don't know. He's from Fresno State. It's the most old school baseball name I've ever heard. Rocco Pepe. This dude was a monster. 327, 392, 602. That's what he did. 14 home runs, 56 RBIs, scored 43 total runs. That's through 56 games, 53 starts. I think he's playing it. I think they have him at first base. And he's not your, which is interesting because he's not your 6'2", 6'3", guy that can go out and reach those bad throws from shortstop. He's not real. Maybe he's got long limbs. I don't know. But he's like 5'9", 5'10", 195 pounds, but he's just hitting the hell out of the ball. And he did that at, I think at Fresno State where he transferred out of. So they added a couple of pieces here and there where I think they feel pretty confident they're going to do better. But I don't know. Again, I told Mason I was going to bring him on a while back for baseball. I'm going to get him in here and he'll break it down. Highly suggest you guys listen to his podcast, Diamond Hog Podcast. It's him and all the Rivals guys over from Hog Beat. They'll fill you in. I mean, they really will. And Mason does a great job. I swear. He knows his baseball. He knows Razorback baseball probably as good, if not better, than just about anybody that covers Arkansas baseball. So I'm going to bring him on. He's going to clear things up for us. But yeah, there are some questions. I don't know what their lineup will look like. I know obviously you'll have Aloy and Diggs. Rocco Pepe's obviously going to be in there. The guy center fielder. Charles.
Take a look at Brent Iredale. Says Pooh Bear, and I did.
Wait, what? Say that again.
So take a look at Brent Iredale. Pooh Bear said to, so I did. Take a look at his numbers. He's the guy from New Mexico, I guess, junior college.
Oh, Brent. Yeah. Brent Iredale. Yeah.
Yeah.
441, 576.
That 441.
Yeah. Yeah, he can hit the hell out of the ball.
Good grief. I hope it translates, man. I really do. I want to see our baseball team just light it up this year.
Well, they've got to be able to score.
So-
They've got to be able to get guys home, score points. When you've got guys on second and third, you can't leave them stranded. I don't know where Arkansas ended up as far as leaving players stranded, like compared to the rest of the SEC, but I know it felt like they left a lot of guys, or they just couldn't move. They couldn't move bags. They couldn't move guys into out of scoring position to home, second and third. They couldn't do it. They struggled at it. Wasn't really, and it cost them. And then something else happened as the season went on. It's like the pitching wore down. Like all of a sudden, the pitching,
Yeah.
I couldn't explain it. I can remember us talking about it. Like, what the hell's going on with the arms? Fortunately, they had a couple of guys they could rely out of, coming out of the bullpen, but their starting pitching just kind of went to shit. So, yeah, there were a lot of, there's always, when it comes to SEC baseball, it's like, it's not good enough to just be, to have a couple decent starting pitchers and then maybe a couple good hitters. Like, you've got to be top to bottom as stacked as anybody in the country to compete in this conference. It's funny because that's how we talk about basketball now. In the SEC, it's crazy.
Basketball, football, everything.
Yeah,
everything.
Make sure you guys like, share, hit the subscribe button. So yeah, we'll obviously I don't plan on doing any. I know I'm going to get asked if I'm going to do post game. I don't do post game for baseball. I don't do it. I might do some stuff in Discord. After the games, we might do some wheel spins or something. But the schedule will remain the same. I'm not going to do any post game. Now, if they make it into, if they go on a run, if they host some regionals, if they host the regional and then a super regional, or hell, it doesn't matter if they're hosting or not. If they're playing pretty hot, they're going into the regionals. I'm probably going to do post games for regional play. Obviously, if they make it to Omaha, I'm gonna be all over that. But yeah. All right. Did we lose Tim? Uh-oh.
No, I'm still here. Something's
okay.
going on internet-wise. I'm just taking a look at it real quick.
Arkansas.
I don't know. I heard about every third word you said.
Uh-oh. I think you're having some problems, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm moving in 4 days, and then there should never be another problem ever again.
Arkansas moved up in the net rankings just a few spots after losing to Alabama simply for playing Alabama. Joe Lunardi has Arkansas as the first team out, which is not totally surprising. This is what he had to say. The SEC Stormroller apparently has no limits. Instead of the more common February scenario in which power conference bubble teams play their way out of the NCAA tournament contention, this league is somehow adding an inconceivable 14th team to the mix. Fresh off convincing wins at Kentucky, at Texas, we present for your consideration the Arkansas Razorbacks. 2 weeks ago, after disappointing home loss to Oklahoma, yeah, that one's still, I don't know what it is about Oklahoma. Does not matter if Arkansas has more talent. Doesn't matter if they're a better team. Doesn't matter if they go on and just kill it at the end of the year and go on a March run in the tournament. Doesn't matter. Oklahoma could be pure shit and they still beat Arkansas. It drives me crazy. John Calipari's debut with the Hogs was dead in the water. The Razorbacks were 12-8 and unsightly 1-6 in league play. Arkansas was on everyone's biggest disappointment list. Now, if the Razorbacks strike again on Saturday when Alabama visits Fayetteville, they will find themselves on the right side of the bubble, and the team they bump won't necessarily be an SEC rival, as it remains to be seen how the likes of Vanderbilt and Georgia will manage their own bubble status. For now, the SEC's bid prospects are like a golf scorecard. It's not about how, but how many. So he has moved Arkansas up to the first four out, along with Xavier, SMU, and UCF. And he's moved Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's in the last four in category, and Oklahoma's in the last four buys, along with Georgia out of the SEC. So I don't know if Tim, can you still hear me? You got me?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I don't know how you feel about.
Can you not hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah. I don't know how you feel about how many teams he has in the tournament, but it's kind of wild right now. The SEC with 13 teams.
It's a lot.
It is a ton.
It's a lot. I don't see that happening by the end of the season. I don't see that sticking. There's no way.
That's crazy. 13 teams, man. 10 out of the Big 10, 8 out of the Big 12. And here's your list. Kentucky still at the 4 seed.
That's 31 of the 64 teams or whatever. 68 teams. Coming from 3 conferences.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big 12 being
maybe.
down. Big
It
12
just seems like
8.
a lot.
Yeah. I think the movement I'm interested in is, well, first off, A&M. I don't know that I like them at the 2 seed. I don't know if they're going to stay. I don't know if they're going to keep that. I really don't. I've watched them play, and I'm a little surprised he's got them up to a 2. I realize they're like 10th of the country, but man, I mean, you go back to when they played Texas. You watch them play. They're a well-coached team, but then they just kind of like let things unravel. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about A&M. I don't know that I'd put them in a 2 seed. I mean, I'm not going to fight them, but listen, that puts them in the same category with Florida, and or Purdue right there at the 2 seed.
I can see them playing
their
way down for sure.
Yeah, well, that's true. They're definitely not going to be a 1 seed.
They barely beat South Carolina. Barely beat Oklahoma. Granted, we lost to Oklahoma, but that was there's some fluky stuff behind that. They lost to Kentucky, lost to Alabama. They've actually barely beat Oklahoma twice. I mean, barely twice. Yeah. 2 points the first time they played them. I mean, they could unravel at the end of the season. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Me either. Like
you said, he's saying most of the time the teams play their way out of it. There's still time to do that. There's still time to play your way out of it a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
But 5-6 games to go, Arkansas could play their way in. 2 or 3 teams could play their way out. So 13 is an unimaginable number. 14 even is. That's silly.
Well, that would be the record.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I'm not buying them. I don't know if there's like everyone else. I don't really have a problem with Kentucky at the 4, and obviously, like we mentioned, this could change. Florida at the 2, 2 or 3, I'm fine with that. Oklahoma at the 10, they're dropping. I think Oklahoma is one of those teams I could possibly see them play themselves out of the tournament. Mississippi State at 7. I mean, this is pretty good. It's hard to argue with any of these considering how well the SEC has played. And he still has 3 of the 4 1 seeds from the SEC. Duke being the only non-SEC team at the 1. That has never happened as long as I can remember at any point in the year. Maybe the Big East, like 15 years ago, had a run where they did that at some point in the year where they had 3 1 seeds with his bracket. I've kept up with his bracket for years. And I don't know that I can ever recall. Maybe the Big 12 when Oklahoma, Texas, and the like, some of of course, Kansas, like when they're all kind of lighting it up, and the Big 12 was so good, with Baylor kind of sprinkled in there. I mean, I don't know that I can ever. This has certainly never happened in Lunardi's time of doing this, where the SEC has had 3 of the 1 seeds at any point in the year. So one game at a time. Yeah,
I don't think that's.
I don't disagree.
Fish, man, if 13 SEC teams make it in and we aren't one, that's going to make me really sad. It'll make me really sad too.
Yeah. Big 10 with 10, and like we said, the Big 12 with 8. Yeah, if you get 13 in and you're not one of them. Listen, I still think even if they cut this down, let's say it's a more realistic number, let's say it's 11, I still think Arkansas is one of those. I really do. the way they're playing. I'm buying in. I'm with you on this. I'm buying in to what's going on now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't fear anybody at this point. I think, we lost to Alabama at home, and that's too bad. But 3 points, and we were down 20 at one point. I really don't fear anybody. I'm gonna take my video off because my internet seems to be better when the video's off. But we beat Kentucky at Kentucky. We beat Texas at Texas. We played within 3 of the number 3 team in the nation, which really, in my opinion, they maybe should be number 1 right now after the other 2 losses. Um, uh, I don't fear anybody left on our schedule. I think we have the potential to beat anybody. We should beat LSU. We should beat A&M. I really do think that's the case.
Yeah.
Who's left? Auburn. Auburn might be the one that I fear.
Who looked human, by the way, in their loss to Florida. And I know that's Florida.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they did.
That was at home.
They did. They're not unbeatable. Florida proved it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that they may be the only one that I'm just like, okay, we're gonna lose to Auburn, period. We should beat LSU. We have the potential to beat A&M at home. We'll beat Texas again. We should beat Missouri at home. South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, those are all winnable games. The rest of our games are winnable. Auburn being the one that I would say it's not a great chance of it. Everybody else is beatable at this point. I'm that bought into it. I don't fear anybody after Kentucky at Rupp.
So then that leads us to what makes this game against LSU. And I say you're out if you can't beat LSU, who's probably the worst team you have left when you consider who you play in Fayetteville. If you can't take care of business against LSU, it's that razor thin for me. But I think I think they're going to win this game. I mean, I'm 85% sure now. LSU fought Ole Miss really good. I actually caught some of that game. LSU had a 10 or 11 point lead. It really looked like LSU was going to pull away, and Ole Miss won that game at the last second with a nice little cleanup play at the rim, and they won with no time. It was almost like a Michael Qualls last second dunk without it being a dunk to beat Kentucky. It was almost one of those moments for Ole Miss to have to beat LSU. But LSU, their net rank is 80th. They're 1-9 versus quad 1 teams, and they're 2-2 versus quad 2, which one of those is against Arkansas. So I want to know your opinion. I wish Travis was here because I'd love to get his thoughts on this. The chat's opinion. Could Arkansas survive a loss to LSU? Now, keep in mind, when I say that, I'm talking about if Arkansas cannot beat LSU, what are the odds you're going to beat enough teams to get in to keep that, that notoriety, that thing that Lenardi is talking about where, we're getting all these teams into the tournament and you're presenting yourself as a team that could beat anybody when you get swept by the LSU Tigers and potentially Mizzou, by the way, who's at least got a decent net ranking. But can they survive a loss to LSU? And if so, tell me why.
Yeah, can't even hear you.
Oh, no. I just went on this.
Internet.
Okay, well, chat.
I heard you
tell
going to spiel about LSU a little bit.
Okay.
If we can't beat LSU, who can we beat, right? That's what you kind of were saying.
Essentially, yeah.
Every couple of words.
Deflated, yes, but yeah, go. Oh no, and then he lost connection. Oh my God.
What in the hell?
You there? Oh boy.
I'm here.
Well, chat. You tell
here.
me. You tell me what you think. Can Arkansas survive? And please, if you're watching this after the fact, let me know too. Can Arkansas survive an LSU loss? But I want to be perfectly clear about this. Arkansas is good enough that they should walk up and down the floor on LSU. The way they're playing since the last time they played the Tigers, they're on another level. Tim, were you able to make out any of that?
Yeah, I finally was.
Okay.
You finally don't sound like a robot. I mean, I do. I think that we walk all over LSU at home. Like I said, we hung with number 3 at home. I don't see why we don't walk all over LSU. I don't think the team had anything to be ashamed of from an Alabama loss, so I don't think that derails the season. That's not like losing to Georgia might derail the season. No, I think we walk all over LSU. Kyle asked me for 4 wins on the schedule. LSU, Mississippi State are both at Arkansas. Texas at Arkansas. There's 3 of them. I'm gonna say at least South Carolina at South Carolina's 4, and Missouri at Arkansas's 5. There's your 5 wins.
Okay. Okay. So again, though, could Arkansas survive a loss to LSU?
Yeah, I mean they could. You'd still have 4 wins right there. If they lost to LSU, I still think they win those other 4 games. I don't see LSU coming into Bud Walton and walking away with one.
All right. This team, yeah, and I pointed that out, Kyle. Yeah, this team is better than the team that no, they are. Absolutely, 110%. You're getting told that you've got a Trey Biddy internet.
I mean, I do. Like I said, I'm moving on Saturday, and hopefully all internet problems are gone after that. Hopefully. Switching to a fiber connection where I'm moving to, so there should be no issues.
So here's Camo. Camo says we shouldn't even put that in the realm of possibilities. Camo, here's the problem, though. I mean, despite Arkansas playing well, all right, you can go back to the Georgia game, because that's when we started to notice a change. They still turned around and lost to Oklahoma. Now Oklahoma is better than LSU. By how much, I don't know. I mean, they're in the tournament. I think Oklahoma could actually play themselves out of the tournament. But then you turn around and you won your next 2 on the road, and they were competitive with Alabama. I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying that there is a shot here that they no, I think there is a chance Arkansas could lose this game to LSU because of how inconsistent they've been. But they have been consistent in terms of their level of play, at least since Georgia. And unfortunately, that does include a loss to Oklahoma. I mean, look at it like this. If I were to, let's say you don't have any clue what happened this year at Arkansas basketball, you're just walking into it. But Kentucky at Rupp is a ranked team, a good team, even though they're missing a point guard. And then you got Texas on the road, who's at least decent. And I were to tell you that Arkansas would go on the road and beat both of those teams, nearly beating both of them by double digits, and then included a loss, you would not have guessed that Oklahoma would have been one of those losses in that mix of games. So that's the point that I'm making, that, yeah, there's a possibility that LSU could beat Arkansas. And if the worst case scenario were to play out and that were to happen, could Arkansas survive? And that's the whole point of this live, which is that's how important this game is, Camo. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying, but when was Boogie gone? First game that Boogie didn't play.
Oh, it was Georgia.
Georgia, right?
If I remember right.
Right. I just want to make sure that I didn't misspeak there because I get called out so much on here for misspeaking. So Boogie's gone, Georgia. We win. We still have some gel problems, but we lost to OU in just a tragedy. But it felt like since then the team has come together. The team has come together in a way that improved them. You lose one of your best players, and the team plays more like a team now than it did when he was on the floor.
Right.
And that's really hard to say because he was so good, but it feels like sometimes he had the ball in his hands and guys were standing around watching what's Boogie gonna do.
Right. Yeah.
And was it some of what's Boogie gonna do, and was it some Boogie being a hero? I don't know, and I don't want to judge on that so much, but the team plays more like a team now to me in a way that makes it almost unfathomable to lose to LSU.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I don't know what the actual basketball power index says on this game, but I would imagine it's heavily favored towards Arkansas. But again, it's just adding to that. This is a big, big game, and it didn't have to be. This game really didn't have to be. Had you taken care of business several times, going back to either Oklahoma, you could even argue Alabama. You love how well they fought back. They just couldn't finish it off in the final minutes.
Yep.
This game could have been nothing. I mean, had you taken care of business, had you played a little better against a number of teams, you go back to Ole Miss. The first time you went on the road and lost to LSU, of course, that was a different team. But sure, we can make that argument all day, right? And they are different now that Boogie's on the bench. But this game didn't have to be as important as it is, and unfortunately, it has become that very thing. Because if Arkansas loses this game, let's say it's a 10% chance, let's say it's a 5% chance. We have seen some crazy shit happen. I don't think it happens, but if it does, I don't think Arkansas recovers. I just don't think they do. You're going to drop in the net. Your odds now, you've got to go on the road, and you're going to have to upset probably A&M at Auburn to get back in the conversation. And again, it's all very possible because college basketball is a son of a bitch. It just is. It's as affected by the portal as any sport in all of college athletics. And it's made these types of games. And again, this very LSU team that we're sitting here trash talking, who's 12-11, 1-9 in conference play, nearly beat Ole Miss. A top 20, top 25 ranked Ole Miss basketball team who is a possible top 6, top 7 seed team. And they nearly beat these guys. So anything can happen, but I'm with the vast majority of you guys when I say that I think Arkansas is going to take care of business. Now, I guess the question is, how do they carry? Like now that let's say they do take care of business, then can they go on the road? Can they get that win against A&M? And can they really turn some heads? That's the other side of this. But I am as excited for this game against LSU. I didn't think I would be, but now that I think that you are kind of playing for something to just not lose, I think that's kind of added to it a little bit. And it's made me really excited. By the way, the matchup predictor actually gives, and I'm a little surprised by this, they give LSU a 27% chance of winning this game. And I'm going to tell you, Arkansas was given a 16% chance when they went on the road against Kentucky. But this LSU team is not this Arkansas team, not a shot. So I think that's too high, and I'd be surprised. I honestly was thinking 15%.
Well, and you've said before that the matchup predictor gives about 20% to the home team.
It's usually
just
usually
for being
roughly
home.
It's usually about 15%. I think it is. It's about 15-20%. The last three, here's something interesting. LSU in points per game on the year, they're 77 points a game, which is not great. It's not terrible, but it's not great. When they got into SEC play, that number's been cut down by 10 points per game. By the way, that's not something that happens every year. It's because this just shows you how dominant the SEC is. You got these defensive-minded teams, besides the Kentuckys and the Bamas that like to play all offense. And you got teams like Tennessee and a number of others. You could throw Arkansas in that category if they can, get their act together on the defensive end of the floor. They've kind of struggled a little bit in there at times this year. They're not as consistent as I would like to see on the defensive end of the floor. But again, LSU drops 10 points per game once they get into SEC play. Arkansas is actually catching up to their season average. They were at like 60, I think it was like 62, 63 points a game their first several SEC games, with their average scoring at 77 based on your non-con combined with your SEC. They've now jumped the last week and a half, the last like 4 games. They're up from 62, 63 points to almost 70 points a game in SEC play. The last 3 games, LSU, the Tigers have averaged 63 points a game. That's against Texas, at Georgia, and against Ole Miss. To be fair, Ole Miss is a really good defensive team. But LSU, they did manage to score 70 points, which is above, I think that's a little bit above Ole Miss's average of points given up. So that's 63 points a game in the last 3 games. That's 189 points for LSU the last 3 games. Arkansas, the last 3 games, have scored 248 points, averaging almost 83 points a game. That is nearly 20 points per game different. Now, yeah, you got to look at the opponents. Alabama is not a great defensive team, and neither is Kentucky. But the fact that you were able to do that on the road in Rupp and then go to Texas and put up 78 and beat them, you probably could have won that game by double digits. You should have. But you won that game 78-70, and then you come back against Alabama in the second half. You shoot outstanding, and you score 81 points just to drop that game by 4 points. So, again, I don't believe for a second that LSU is going to come in here. But a nightmare scenario, if it were to play out, is kind of what gives you a little bit of like, oh, my God, this game is really important. You have to win this game.
You bring up that Texas A&M game. In the Arkansas-Texas game, we comfortably led that thing most of the way through. We never really felt super challenged with Texas. Texas A&M had a 20-point lead and blew it and lost
22.
at Texas.
It was a 22-point lead.
And lost. So, yep. I mean, even if we lose to LSU, I think a lot of teams would have already quit on Cal or quit on their coach. These guys haven't shown any quit. I don't see any reason why they would quit over an LSU loss.
I don't think so either.
I think they still would take it to A&M.
To answer my own question, I don't think they would give up, but I do think it would be over. And I say that because it becomes, again, we can talk about the A&M game, but if you're not good enough to beat, the example I'm trying to make out of LSU is how bad they are. If you're not good enough to beat A&M, and there's a lot of different reasons, right? You talk about the lack of depth, not having Boogie Flan, who, by the way, I think Boogie Flan would have he would have ate versus Alabama. I think that game matched what he does on the floor. I talked about that in the post game. You didn't have him, and you lost the game by 4 points. Just that game. I'm not saying that this is a different ball game with him being available. Although having an 8th guy or a 9th guy would be preferable. But having that short roster, it's already kind of plagued you. It's already plagued Arkansas this year. It's one of the reasons why you've lost some of these games. It's a big reason why you've lost some of these games. Another thing is something to look at, something to think about is Nelly Davis. I mean, when he is on fire and he's knocking down threes, yeah, Big Z's obviously been a big part of this turnaround as well, but Nelly has as well. I mean, Nelly has shot, his last several games, he's averaging something like 16 points a game the last, I think, 5 games combined. It's something like the last 4 or 5. But think about how inconsistent he's been. Big Z's also been a little bit inconsistent. He's been consistent outside, but overall his game has not been super consistent. You're not getting a lot of help out of Jonas Adu. Brazil has been I don't know. I mean, you and I have both talked about this. Brazil's play is just not what it was pre-injury. There are a lot of factors here as to why this could be a total meltdown if you lost to LSU. So
that's fair.
I think, golly, man, it's nice to be. They're not quite in the driver's seat for the tournament, but Tim, it feels good. Like they're on the better side of this debate, though, right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I didn't feel this good just a couple of weeks ago. I really feel it's changed quite a bit. I really feel like there's something to feel good about. I was like you, looking forward to baseball. Not really reading into my baseball stuff yet, but just going, man, I'm ready to start looking at baseball. And then all of a sudden, they decided to turn into a team. So
yeah, I know. It's amazing what has happened, what's transpired with Arkansas. And I'm not. Yes, this team would be. This is the thing that I've wondered. Now, and Boogie Flan, I don't think is going to come back, even if Arkansas. I know they said he's out for the year, but I don't know what his chances are if Arkansas were to play in the tournament. What his odds of coming back and playing? But I don't think if he came back, it would be the same situation as what happened with Nick Smith. I think what would happen is they would just keep Wagner. Like, I think Wagner would be the point
And move
and
Boogie to the 2.
move Boogie to the 2. Only utilize Boogie as a combo guard or as the 1 when DJ Wagner, not that he gets into any kind of foul trouble, but if he needs a few minutes to rest, that's the only time you play him at the 1, because you remember Boogie Flan 60-70% of the time played the point in the offense flow differently.
Yeah, it did.
So I think it would be a huge bonus to get him back, but I don't think that even matters.
Do you think he's not a one and done? Do you think he's one and done?
Which one?
Boogie.
Oh, Boogie. Yeah.
Because if he's one and done, then there's really no reason for him to come back.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I also think, I'm just going to say it, I don't know where people are at with Adu. I think Adu Thero's gone. I don't think he's coming back. I think he's going to go pro. He's playing like a lottery pick. I saw some more deep numbers on him on Twitter. Someone posted something, what he's done the last 5 games based on like 40 minutes of play. His points per minute based on 40 minutes or something. It's like one of the highest in the country. I just don't see him. I mean, he's a good size player. He's kind of he's a mix, with that 6'6" frame. He could do a lot. He's so athletic.
Well, he disappeared for a couple of games, but it does seem like he turned it back on.
And he can do that. That's what's crazy is like I don't know how many times before we talked about players that would just vanish and they would never come back, and Brazil's kind of an example of that. Whereas Adu, he maybe doesn't have one big game, and then he comes back and he goes on this run the next 2 or 3 nights where he's the best player on the floor.
Yeah.
So Adu gone for sure, says Matt. He loses stock every year he stays. Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know what this means. Nelly bed turn up?
He better turn up.
Oh, he better turn up. All right. I don't know. These kids and their slang, Tim. I can't. I don't ever know what they're talking about.
I'm older than you, and I understood that. Come on.
You have a daughter that's older than mine, though, right? Like she's in the.
She's 14. She's 14.
Mine's 12. My oldest is 12.
Okay.
I said something like lit the other day, and I was like, "Man, that's lit." She was like, "Don't ever say that again."
I know. My daughter is always like, "Just stop talking." She'll walk out of the room.
Get that eye roll. Like, hey, it's dad life. What are you gonna do about it? I will be live for the post game on Wednesday night. Make sure you guys are there. It's always a lot of fun. We've been giving away these packs. We've given away 2. I just shipped out all the cards. My God, this is the most I've ever shipped out. 6 total cards. Well, 5 cards and 1 of these bad boys right here to Patreon supporters. That's a pack right there of Arkansas players. One of these, and maybe it already got sent off. I don't know. One of these has an autographed card from a player. No idea who it is. But if you're a Patreon supporter, you'll have a shot at winning one of those cards. It's good to see you in here, John. It's good to see you. Matt says TB's talent got Kardashians. Oh, gosh. Kardashians suck.
He had a flash of it. He had a flash of it the other night. He came in on that rebound dunk.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the TV I remember. But one play out of a entire game.
He'll
once in a while he'll do something and you're like, that's the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll have I don't remember who it was. It might have been Georgia, where he comes off the bench and within like 2 minutes, he has 3 rebounds, an assist, a block, and like 6 points. It was like, holy crap, where's this production come from? It only happened once. Yeah. I want to say it was Georgia or someone early on in SEC play, if I'm not getting my games mixed up. But he was it was fantastic, and then he vanished. He was gone. Didn't do anything else the rest of the game. As long as he didn't get minutes.
There's moments. He had a huge block the other night too. It felt like his hand was above the backboard when he blocked a shot. And you're just like, that's the guy that came to Arkansas that could jump over people. He could Vince Carter people when he got here, and then he got injured, and that's over.
It was over. Do you remember though his first year here, and they were talking, I don't remember if this was when they were in Europe, when Musk sent them over to Europe or what, the conversation about Brazil was he could be a first-round draft pick.
Yes. Yeah. When he could jump over people and score and was fearless. Yeah. His first year.
That injury, I guess it's just, I don't know. It has, and it's understandable. I mean, it's pretty big.
I'm not criticizing that. I just wish we could get him back.
I know.
I wish we had back the guy that came here.
He wouldn't be here if that hadn't happened. I think he'd be in the league right now. I really do. I'm not saying he would have been a first rounder. I'm not saying he wouldn't have had some time in the G League, developing his game. I'm not saying that, but are saying otherwise. But I don't think he would have been here another year. And I do think he does bring something. He can get you some productive minutes. It's just not consistent, and it's not his entire time on the floor. It's like you're going to get a couple really good minutes out of him, and that's really about it. I think they are going to need him. They're going to need everybody. And I'll tell you another guy that I want to see them get turned up is Jonas Adu.
Yeah. And we talked about Nelly being the disappointment on the season, but Nelly started to turn it on, but Adu has not turned it on at all.
He's been
he's
16 points a game, or excuse me, 16 minutes a game. He's averaging 5 points, 4 boards. I mean,
I didn't realize. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't realize his rebounds were that high. I was thinking he was averaging like 1.5.
To be fair, he's played in just 20 games, so he's behind 3 games. So obviously that'll help his average out a little bit when you're comparing minutes to production and everything. But he is getting a block a game. I don't know how he's 53.1. That guy has missed. I don't know the last time. I don't know. Apparently he has made 53% of his shots, and I'm surprised. Of course, we know it's right there around the post. Those are going to be your highest percentage shots on the floor. But
he's one for 2 most games and 2 for 3 every once in a while, so he's 53%.
Yeah. 58% at the free throw line, not that he gets there very often.
Jack.
I don't know. His game has just not come along. It's not developed. And he's been a net negative.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about, because this was one of the biggest gets out of the portal. A lot of people were saying that between this and a couple of the other guys, obviously Wagner and Nelly and Thero were huge, but this was considered one of the biggest surprise gets in the SEC, not just to the Arkansas team, but in the SEC. And he's here, and there's no production from this guy at all. And I think he might even be kind of the missing part. If you could get him to come along, if he's not that he's going to get 16 minutes a night. I mean, unless guys are in foul trouble or they're, banged up or tired. But if he's going to get 16 minutes, it's got to be more than what we've seen, in terms of the production on the floor. It's just been so bad.
What you hated hearing in the Alabama game is when Big Z gets pulled out and I think it was Knox got pulled out, and they put in Brazil and they put in Adu. And the announcers are like, well, the Razorbacks are going to have to look for scoring now because Adu's on the floor and he doesn't know what to do with the ball. I mean, that's not what you want to hear with your big man going in. You want to hear, we just put in a big man who can do something around the rim, but he just doesn't.
You can't feed him around the post. He either turns the ball over or he just doesn't know what to do with it. He struggles with his handles, which is not unheard of for a guy that size. But
sometimes he doesn't square up and throw some wild shots, and you're like, what are you doing?
It's unfortunate. And again, it's like if he could find his game, whatever he was doing right before, if he could find that, and it might even just be the system. I don't know. But if he could find that, this would, oh my God, the transformation of this team and the bench play. And that's the other thing that frightens me about this team. If they do make it into March, it's like, okay, great. Now what? Because they don't have the bench production outside of an occasional Billy Richmond. They don't have the bench production to really make any kind of moves, to really give them the tush push, if you will. to get it done on the floor like you had before under Musselman, where you could pull guys off the bench. It's like, well, there's a scorer. There's a guy that could score from the mid-range. There's a guy that stretches the floor. There's a guy that could play around the post. There's a guy that's going to get points. He's going to get to the free throw line. They don't have that. And that's, again, from the bench. That's what's very concerning for me. And that's, again, another what I already kind of spoke to a minute ago. But that's the concern that you hope doesn't creep up against these teams that have the kind of depth, that have the bench to go to do whatever and to make all these different kind of combinations on the floor. Makes you wonder what he does well, honestly.
Takes up space.
He can't box out. I mean,
yeah,
I say he can't. He used to. At Tennessee for 3 years, he was, for at least last year, he was an absolute monster. Averaged, he averaged like almost 8 boards a game. I can't find his numbers. My computer's being stupid. I can't pull it up. But I do remember, because I was looking at his numbers after my post game on Saturday, because I'd said something about his play, and I was pulling it up, and I was like, God dang, he was so good at Tennessee last year. Why can't they get that back? Here we go. I've got it now.
I got him.
Almost 52% shooting. Where's his points? 11 points.
He was 11-7 guy, which we'd pay for 11-7 right now.
Yeah. Oh man, to get that.
Wait, we do pay, but we don't get 11-7.
Yeah, well, you paid for an 11-7 guy.
Yeah,
when he was at another school,
and you got 5-4, not quite 4.
They're just not
5 and not quite 4, man.
I'll tell you what, though, they are winning. They're starting to show, like Nelly Davis is starting to show his worth finally, and obviously Thiero has just been incredible. Big Z, there's I don't feel like they've missed, like maybe Carter Knox, but he's still got a little ways to go. I'm not going to judge him too harshly, or Billy Richmond. And Billy Richmond's been a nice surprise off the bench, just in terms of like his effort, his defensive play, the hustle up and down the floor.
That is something else that's really changed, I think, that we don't talk enough about. We've beat to death the idea that Boogie has come out and all of a sudden they gelled like a team. But something else that's really changed is the toughness on defense. The bodying guys up, not letting them just run around and, blow by you. That stuff was happening early on. We just were letting people run by us. We were afraid to put a body on anybody. We're doing a much better job of that, especially on the perimeter. And that probably doesn't get enough love. And Billy Richmond's a part of that. Even Carter Knox is a part of that. And Nelly. Honestly, Nelly, that's what I was about to say. Nelly is really has really stepped up the defense. And I think maybe that's helping his offense a little bit, just the way that he has stepped up his defense and contributed in other ways, and maybe taken some of the pressure off himself to contribute on offense.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. The great defense could turn into great offense, and the effort and the energy on the defensive end of the floor. Now, again, Kentucky and Alabama are going to put up points, and they're going to be able to move the ball up and down the floor well and score. Oh, Travis wants to hop in here. Let's get him in here really quick. If I can send that link.
He's way more fun than I am, and probably drunk. I
was going to say he's probably drunk. Mello says it's the system. I think he's talking about Jonas Adu, and I think it very well could be the system.
It could be,
because this is it is that dribble drive, quick transition points, which is what they want to do. It's a different half style offense than what they do at Tennessee. I agree with that. It probably is the system.
Yeah, well, they said something to that effect on Nelly too, because they had to change the way that Nelly was being used.
Yeah,
which happened around the Kentucky game, honestly.
If Nelly doesn't get his three game groove back, we won't go dancing, says Fishman.
Well, something else. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think with Big Z's play, There he is.
Hey,
What's going on, man?
Travis Ford.
I was direct servicing, guys. What's up?
There you go. Oh, by the way, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check out all the links provided for you down below. Please do that. But it's not, I don't know if, like someone like LSU, Nelly can do the same thing they did in the last game, just make 12, 13 points, just
fine.
be a defensive guy. As long as Thero, Wagner, and Big Z are doing what they need to do. Billy Richmond coming off the bench doing what he needs to do against someone like LSU. But however, moving forward, I think you're right. I think if Nelly goes cold again, which he's capable of doing, it could be very problematic for Arkansas moving forward. And I would say that might be enough for Arkansas to miss the tournament.
Oh, Nelly goes cold. We're screwed, bro.
I think also that there should be some level setting here. Making the tournament needs to be good enough because, like you said earlier, I wanted to follow up on this and didn't, but we don't have the depth to make a giant run in the tournament.
Yeah.
We might be a second round team in the tournament. We're not going to the Final Four. It doesn't matter who plays how. We're not a Final Four caliber team with the depth that we have.
I'd be happy to just make it to the freaking tournament at this point.
Well, and that's the thing, because I think we all agree that they're good enough to get there. They've proven that. Just with the Kentucky win alone, they've proven that. But then if they actually get there, how far? Like, what are fans going to be happy with?
Dude, they get there and make it to the second game. I'm cool.
Just make
it out of the first one, man, and the rest is like whatever.
Yeah,
just go farther than Kentucky. We're all happy.
Yeah, my entire season expectations are just to keep crapping on Kentucky the whole way through it. Like as long as we make it to the tournament, and like they're gonna be like, "Oh, y'all be out in the first round." Made it past that. Now what? And we'll just keep moving the goalposts, And then what's going to be funny is if Kentucky makes the tournament, which they probably will, and they go out the first, they're going to be like, no!
Yeah.
If 13 teams make it, some SEC teams are going to end up playing each other. Just put us in the same bracket as Kentucky, okay?
That would be awesome.
Oh, my God.
Not because I'm so confident we'd beat them because it's hard to be the same team twice, but it would just be an epic game because they would be like, we're going to kill you guys. It would be awesome.
It would be. It'd be great, and it would be nice to shut them up again. You could play them again. There's absolutely that opportunity when you go to the SEC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You could end up being matched up with Kentucky again. And by the way, if they send 10 teams, there's still a chance they're going to end up playing each other because once you get to the Sweet 16, it just doesn't happen because the SEC shits its pants once it gets to the tournament.
It does.
Dude, I know Bama beat us this week, and I know y'all probably already covered this. But we gave them hell, bro. So I'm sitting here like, man, if we can give them hell, because look, they're a pretty good team this year. That makes me still feel pretty good about it.
Travis coming in saying exactly what I said.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's good. It makes me feel less stupid.
No, that's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind the late stop bys. I don't. I know that you guys are worried about saying the same thing that's already been repeated, but what you forget is like, yeah, it's good to hear it from you also, even if I've already said it, because it either confirms what I'm saying or we've got now we can have a little back and forth about it, and it always gets the chat going as well if there's a good debate going down.
Speaking of debates, what happened to Hogs? Is he debating?
No.
What Chad asked before you got in here, Travis, is what your breath smelled like.
Chili, currently.
They said, what number did you hit on the breathalyzer on your way to the microphone?
Oh, no. Unfortunately, I was working. Last night, different story. Got trashed. It was a bad time.
Travis, you didn't retweet this stream. You son of a bitch.
My bad. I was just playing hell to get on it. I got you.
As my 10-year-old used to say, how dare. How dare, Daddy. I want to ask you this, Travis. I already asked Tim in the chat this. If let's say that the basketball power index is right. Well, I say right. They get that 20 whatever % chance of beating Arkansas, and that happens. I think it was 27. Is that what I said? 27.
27.
Who is it? 27%?
27% chance. And that's higher. That's way higher than I thought. I really thought
it's because they already beat us once.
It might be.
Probably.
It could be
That was
that.
a different team, man. Like, really.
Yeah. But if that happens, is Arkansas because again, their net ranking, I think I had it up here, is what, 80th? It's not good.
It is a very bad sign if we lose to LSU.
You think they go to the tournament? You think they recover?
I don't. Because you're going to get your ass whooped by Auburn pretty soon, most likely.
A&M next.
Yeah. A&M is not bad, dude. They're the 8th in the freaking, on the AP. I don't know. We still got a pretty tough run. Missouri, Texas again, they're going to be pissed. At least at our house.
They're going to be at Barnhill, yeah. Who cares?
Yeah, but damn, Tim.
Get pissed.
It's going to be
Get pissed. Who cares? We're going to beat them worse at Barnhill than we did down in Texas.
You mean Bud Walton?
I was wondering if they're actually going to play in Barnhill.
Why did that happen to me?
Because you're 85 years old?
Shut up. No, we're going to beat them worse in Bud Walton than we did in Texas. And Texas A&M dropped a 22-point lead on Texas. So don't bow down and worship them too hard over there. Your knees might hurt.
Texas A&M. I still think, just like looking at the schedule after watching the last 3 games, I'm going, we're probably getting, I think we're going to beat LSU and A&M. I think we're going to lose to Auburn. I think we might beat Missouri, and I think we're going to beat Texas.
So you think they're going to go to College Station and beat A&M?
I think so. I think they got it in them.
I definitely think they have it in them.
It's just a matter of we need to whoop LSU's ass though. Like they need to whoop their ass.
It needs to be 20. It does. It needs to be a clock cleaning. It needs to be an absolute, just taking a dump down their throat kind of game. It does.
Yeah, we're going to be at Barnhill, so we'll be fine.
See? You did that to me. That was the second time he said it.
1992? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Second time he said it. He did that to me.
I said it mocking you both times. I'm sorry.
My first game ever for Arkansas athletics was inside Barnhill.
I've never physically been inside Barnhill.
I saw Shaq play in Barnhill.
Oh yeah,
Shaq?
was at LSU?
Yep.
When he got rich in college?
I'm that old.
Yeah.
I saw Oliver Miller handle Shaq in Barnhill Arena.
Auburn looked human the other day.
We were probably at that same game, Tim. Who knows?
Right.
Probably.
Auburn looked human the other day against Florida, but I still think they're going to beat us.
Wait, who?
Auburn.
Oh, Auburn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was something else for them to lose at home. And I know Florida's good. I've talked them up like all year. Like I like Florida. I did not think they're going to go in there and beat Auburn. They took care of business.
Yeah.
Very surprised by that.
I left out three games, but I always do that. I always leave games
South
out.
Carolina, Vanderbilt.
Here's an interesting one on BroThrow. By the way,
it's gonna be tough.
If you haven't already, go over to BroThrow, sign up using Tusk, all caps TUSK, peer-to-peer sports betting. This is an interesting matchup. I think right now the spread's at 9.5 and the over-under's at 157, but Vanderbilt is so good at home and they've already got some upsets and they're good enough.
Yeah, Vandy is pretty good at home. Just like in football, actually.
Yeah, right?
Weird.
What do you think on this spread? 9.5. Would you take Vandy to cover?
No.
No,
I wouldn't.
No.
Because Auburn's going to be pissed.
Auburn's pissed. They're going to go to Nashville and.
Yeah, because being pissed as a basketball player is different than being pissed as a football player.
Yeah.
You can have an immediate impact in a game, very quickly. Whereas, like, you can be pissed and be a lineman and have a good game, but that doesn't mean the whole team's like that. Well, the basketball team's a lot like fewer people, so they can fire each other up.
There's this one, and then there's Florida at Mississippi State. This is a close one.
Florida dog walks them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a little surprised it's at -2 on the spread.
It is at Mississippi State.
It is. And that's fair. And they've also been very good at home. They're pretty tough. But I mean, that's like 70% of the SEC or anybody really for that matter. But this one's actually, I feel like I would take Florida on the over there.
Probably would too.
To cover. Yeah. So
back to Auburn real quick. I really don't think they have much to be pissed about. They lost, but they're still number one.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
They didn't drop into the top 10. They're still number one. They didn't lose anything. They're still a number one seed if things were seeded today.
They got beat down at home just like we did, though. So we'll see.
They still lead the SEC. So I don't feel like there's too much to be mad about there for Auburn. Just go out and make sure you prove it the rest of the way.
That game is going to be interesting. Tennessee, Kentucky.
Yeah, Tennessee at -1.5.
I'll be watching that game.
That's a much more interesting game, I think.
This is the game. Yeah, this is the game I'm going to put on the prediction sheet. That's going to be the first one I do tonight.
Kentucky Super Bowl of the week.
Did you
see that clip? Did you see that clip of that guy going, "This is the most important game in like a decade, the game of the century"? And then now all the fans are just like, "No, man, like we didn't even really like care that much, bro."
Yeah.
Like,
you talking about Arkansas? You talking about that dude that was talking to Courtney Mims?
Maybe it was. Was that a Mims interview?
Yeah. Dude. This is. I mean, he didn't say that this is our Super Bowl, but he was like, "This is the biggest game of the year."
Yeah.
He was going on. He kind of looked nerdy. I mean,
yeah. I watched that.
It was Courtney. Yeah, and someone actually
awesome.
Someone posted that without giving her credit. I don't know why people do that. You need to give credit.
See, I would have known that the great Courtney Mims did that.
That's right.
Had you guys giving her credit?
She's a part of Tusk Talk. She's a part of this. I mean, we're just going to claim.
Courtney. I'm just wondering why you haven't pulled her in on a Monday night.
Her schedule is she's busy and she's been sick. She
does news media. She probably works stupid hours.
Yeah, her schedule's crazy.
Get up at like 4 a.m. type stuff.
I would love to pull her in on one of these. We could do this with the three of us. It'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, this is a big one. Tennessee at Kentucky. I mean, this is what some would say might be game of the year if it wasn't for Alabama Auburn being 1 and 2, assuming they can keep that rank.
Well, Tennessee or Kentucky's pretty beatable and rough, from my experience. I think Tennessee might be okay. They're going to be playing in the Spirit Halloween Arena. Bud Walton West. Yeah, or East.
I was going to say East. Tennessee versus Arkansas Light.
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
that's right. Ouch. That's right. Beat us and then say something.
That's right.
Y'all
talk shit for a year.
Until the rematch when they play each other in the SEC tournament.
They just mop us.
I know it's gonna happen. Yeah, and then they probably just kill us.
Dude, we're gonna get throttled. Watch. Then we're like, shit.
Oh, man.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We won the first game.
That's right. We won the one that counted.
Yeah, we won at Rupp. So.
What would be glorious? The best thing that could happen for me is if they get beat in the tournament before we have to play them.
Oh.
That would be wonderful.
For them to be one and done in the NCAA tournament would be fantastic.
I'm in the SEC tournament, but I'm wondering what the seeds are going to be in the SEC tournament. We'll probably play them in the first freaking round.
Yeah.
And then game day will show up.
Dude, there's some interesting games though. Just on Tuesday alone. I mean, you got Georgia, who's I don't know. They're I don't know what to make of them, but they got to play at A&M.
Georgia's been weird this year.
Yeah. Alabama at Texas. Bama should mop the floor with them.
Yeah, they will.
Wednesday, what could be a fascinating game is to see if South Carolina finally gets one. They've got number 19 Ole Miss. Actually, what is the spread on that?
Isn't South Carolina 0-12 or something?
They are, but they are very difficult to beat at home. Why? Oh, that's Wednesday. We don't have that's right.
They're 0-10. They've lost plenty of games at home.
Yeah.
They seem pretty easy to beat at home.
But if you go and look at some of those games, like they've taken
I'm looking at it.
They've taken teams to overtime. Florida only beat them by a point. Mississippi State beat them by 5. A&M
Auburn beat them by 3.
Yeah, A&M beat them by 4. Like, they are rough at home. They beat Clemson earlier in the year.
Mississippi State beat them by 35 at Mississippi State, though.
At Mississippi State, yeah.
Fishman said he hopes Chris Beard goes to Indiana. Me too, bro.
Oh, I know it. Yeah,
That would
get
be
him out of the conference.
We got too many good coaches in the SEC. This sucks.
Yeah.
You
This
know?
sucks, bro. You're not supposed to be this good,
This
SEC.
sucks. Yeah, why is everybody good?
Yeah, it's not like it used to be. For
How do
sure.
you think Muss would do in today's era of the SEC?
Well, to be fair, he was kind of in the middle of it, though. I mean, this granted
Was before it was super good, though, right? Like this year's probably the best year it's been in history.
Yeah, this will probably go down in history as the greatest year, maybe ever, for any conference.
What league is the USC in?
They're in the Big Ten now.
He's losing in the Big Ten right now.
Yeah, but they've got a couple of good wins this year. They beat Illinois.
I still love Muss, though.
Well, he lost his superstar, Bronny James.
What's their record? Their USC's 13-10 right now.
Yeah, it's a rough go of it.
He must be sleeping in the pool house.
Yeah. I miss what he was doing here, though. I mean, my God. It's weird to see fans,
coach, but
it's weird to see fans, Kentucky fans, talk about like Arkansas hasn't accomplished anything. Like, oh, you've been irrelevant, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, we went further than anybody in the SEC for like 3 straight years of the tournament. What are you talking about? Back-to-back Elite Eights, 3 straight Sweet 16s. Let's not forget about what they did in the 90s and the 80s. And you can go all the way back to Eddie Sutton in the 70s. Like, let's not sit here and act like Arkansas is just crap. They've been bad since Nolan Richardson, the end of his career. But Steven says, I do miss Muss.
Yep.
His antics on Twitter were awesome. I'll just say
I miss how tuned in he was with everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Cal's, I don't know. Cal feels like a bigger coach. Muss felt like he was one of us.
He really did.
Yeah. And then Cal's like, it's like oh, he's a professional. And I'm never going to high five that guy. Muss is like, I'm taking my shirt off. Let's go. Like, didn't give a shit.
To be fair though, Cal does give off this, like, if you were to sit down at like Herman's, because I hear he's like a big fan of Herman's in Fayetteville. I feel like he'd be the kind of guy that would sit down and like talk to everybody within like a 40-foot radius, That Italian kind of like, hey, you try the steak, kid. It's good. It's not juggling balls. I'm over here. This guy over here, I think he's probably about 36 years old. Come over here and try my steak. It's great, huh? It's Herman's. That's what he strikes me as.
I'm clipping that for Discord, dude.
I think that that's why he wins on the recruiting trail, man. I think he's just got that, like, everybody around him is the same as him kind of personality, while at the same time he's a Hall of Fame coach. So
I feel like he's got more aura than Muss.
He definitely has more aura than Muss, for sure.
Yeah. Well, Muss
is a frat boy.
Right. Yeah.
I've heard people say, like, he would stop and do interviews with anybody that had like a microphone, but it was like you could tell he was annoyed, but he was willing to do it. Whereas Cal might be more like, you're gonna have to go through the SID.
Courtney Mims can't even get a Cal interview right now, man.
But when it comes to the fans and the players and the families, I mean, he knows what he's doing. I mean, I think he's always recruiting, and that's what I love about him. Like the energy and the effort that Muss put into the X's and O's on the floor. Cal does that with recruiting so much so that it's why he's able to recruit. And it was like a snowball downhill. It followed with great recruiting, followed with a great product on the floor, being a great coach that he was, I think still is. It all just snowballed into what you have now, this Hall of Fame coach.
It's kind of an interesting idea. Like, you can kind of be a crappier coach if you have better talent. You know what I mean?
But there's so many teams though where like they'll stack up talent. You go back to before the NIL and the transfer portal, it'd stack up talent and couldn't do much with it.
Look at LeBron's championship trophy.
Fair.
Stack up talent left and right. Can't win an NBA championship.
Yeah. We'll see what they do now with their recent moves. God, I hate the Lakers. But
I hate LeBron more than I hate any team.
Sorry, I drug your guys' thing out. I'm sure you were about to wrap it, but I was
you're good. You're good. I'm just waiting on dinner.
I sat down eating dinner, watching it, and I was like, I'm calling in.
Yeah. No, it was good. I'm glad you did. When I saw that. Yeah. And people text me. Don't ever text me if I'm live. DM me in Discord. I will read
That's
it.
what I was thinking because I texted the group and I didn't hear nothing. And I was like, he ain't even looking at his phone.
No,
and I was like,
never look at
all
my
right,
phone.
I'm gonna DM him
Well,
right now.
and I'm using my phone for a camera right now. So
I tried to just click the previous link. I guess your link changes every time. That was weird.
It does. Yeah.
Yes.
StreamYard, you got to change it every
See,
time.
on Ecamm, it never changed. It was always the same link.
Yeah.
Weird.
Ecamm.
Fish
I gotta
man.
cancel Ecamm actually because that's like $40 a month.
Wow. Well, I guess we can wrap it up there. Again, you guys go check out BroThrow. There's some interesting games this week. If you want to lay down some dough, hopefully some people made money on that Super Bowl. God, I did not expect that to be a blowout, but
That was crazy.
Best football game ever.
I bet. Hey, they didn't give the refs a chance to do nothing. It didn't matter.
Hey, first pass play of the game, I was like, this is in for the Chiefs. You could tell because they called that bullshit offensive pass interference. It was so bad that even the announcers were like, I don't see it.
Know about that
Tom Brady called it out.
Tom Brady's like, I don't see this.
Yeah.
So, and I immediately was like, oh, the fix is in. The Chiefs are winning this 3 feet.
Did you guys
I was so mad.
see Kendrick destroyed Drake for a whole halftime show?
Yes.
Good Lord, that guy.
Yeah.
Serena came out to participate.
Yeah.
I love the American
girlfriend. The dance to a
I
song.
love the
calling him a
American
pedophile.
flag display.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The American flag display, and when he split the flag, all of it meaningful and cool. Loved every bit of it.
Yep.
I thought it was cool.
The symbolism behind it, whatever. I'm just not a big fan of his music. Like, I'm just not. That one song he has is pretty cool. There's like one single that I like of his. But I knew that going in. It's not me judging the halftime show. I just wasn't really a fan. I'm hoping next year they like, okay, cool. We got that one done. Now next year, like, give us Creed. Give us Creed, man.
It's gonna be Jelly Roll next year, bro. Watch.
It's Jay-Z, so you know it isn't gonna be Creed. Jay-Z makes that decision.
Oh, I didn't know that. He does?
Yeah.
How did he get put in such a good position in life?
I didn't know he
Rock Nation signed a deal with the NFL, and he's obviously he owns Rock Nation.
I did not know
but they
that.
signed a deal with the NFL to choose the talent for the Super Bowl halftime.
God.
I wonder if it'll be like
that's how you got Dre, Snoop, Eminem. That's how you got Usher. It's because it's Jay-Z.
Yeah. Oh well. Rest in peace, halftime shows. All right.
No
Anyways, that is it. I again appreciate everyone for being here. Make sure you're on your way out, like, share, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Please check out all the links provided for you down below. That includes direct service overhead, the Garage Door Company, same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. 501-244-3667. And of course, go lay down a bet over on BroThrow. Go make you some money or lose some money, whatever. It's all for fun, right?
I lost $40 last night.
Oh man,
I was so mad.
Yeah,
I bet on all the plus 14,000 stuff though.
Yeah,
but it's okay.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of gambling because we're trying to be tight with our money. We got this cruise coming up, and I'm like, we can't spend any more money after buying like a $400 gaming handheld unit, and I'm probably about to buy the Kingdom Come 2 game that just came out. That's like $90. So
I bought my son a Stream Deck. It's still sitting in here in the studio. Steam Deck. Sorry.
Oh, Steam Deck. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, well, bring that over here. I don't know why you need to.
I'm just like, bro. He's like, please. That's all I want. He ain't turned this damn thing on once.
Oh no,
kids.
I'm gonna keep it.
Well, that is it, everybody. Travis, thank you for joining us. Tim, of course, it's always fun. I look forward to these Monday nights. You guys help make this easier. Really, it's fun to just sit here and have a conversation.
Way more fun when the internet works.
Yeah.
Yeah, must have had a permanent pissed off.
We have a good picture of Tim. We have several.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right, boys.
I stayed awake tonight, ass.
You did. All right, boys. I'll talk to you later on in the week.
See y'all.
Yep.
Yeah, bye.
I appreciate you guys stopping by.
Sir.
See ya.
Coming out is Chandler.
Ha ha ha!